You have it? Oh, okay. And then just hit the channel again. All right, and then there it is. It is. And then join the conversation. Oh, Lord. Okay, go back. Okay, I think we're good.
Right there.
Yeah, that should be good, I think. All right. We are live once again. Yeah. Well, Jamel, what's going on, bro?
Hey,
All
I
right.
am your host.
Solid, solidified energy. Chris, what's going on, Jason? Yeah, late again. You know what they say. You know, I'm just playing now. What's going on, Kevin? So today is going to be about anxiety, fear, uncomfortable growth. So basically, for example, it's not necessarily what up, Barbie? It's not necessarily about, you know, fear in the sense of, oh dang, we got the kids' toys going crazy. Yeah, yep, yep. Life goes on around here. That's how it works. Yep. Oh, Reno is Josh. Okay, cool. What's going on? Oh, Wagwan. Oh man, yo. So, episode is about fear. So this is more so not necessarily talking about you being afraid of heights or afraid of monsters. This is more so where we come in about that side of things that you don't necessarily want to touch because it's uncomfortable. 'Cause you might feel like it's too hard to step to. What's going on, Grams? So
So run that back. So how are you describing it?
fear, uncomfortability, or anxiety in the sense of why you're not taking that step towards the next level.
Yeah.
You know. So is that better to solidify it? Like,
Yeah, I think so.
you know, what's holding you? Not even what's holding you, but why it's holding you. You know, the right mindset to have about fearing something or being uncomfortable with a certain thing that's going to take you to the next thing. You know, a lot of the times that's the whole reason that people don't get to that certain opportunity that they're looking for because they're not ready for it because they're not going towards the growth that's needed from how uncomfortable it might be to start doing it. Okay. So basically,
And why do you think that is?
I think we're programmed. What's going on, Fabo? I think we're programmed in a
I
certain
think
way,
I'm in.
especially right now in this wave of legal THC and everything that,
Everything
people,
being woke and
yeah, people doing different things. All they need, the fear of failure, yes. So that's one of the biggest parts of it for sure. Um, in this life, you're gonna be a creator or a contributor. Okay. So your creation gets deterred. Everyone from adolescence or from a kid's standpoint. What's up, Steve? we have strong hope that we have this time and we can do almost anything, and we have these major dreams. And then when you get to adulthood and you have certain responsibilities, it stops. Like you feel like, well, I didn't get here, so I don't have to keep pushing towards it. This is what life is now.
Right.
I have all these things that I've gone through that has put me into this spot, and everything else outside of that is too much. You know, I can't push to another level of making the time towards certain things that I want to do.
You think it's a level of like being content with where you're at?
So I think, yeah. So I think that's one thing. Hey, Mimi, I think that's one thing. I think, um, in our case, right, it wasn't necessarily that we were content with where we were at, but we lacked opportunity in a sense. Because you obviously we didn't want to be where we was at,
right.
but we didn't have anything to bring us out of it at certain times. But again, the growth that you try to put towards, the seeds that you try to sow towards, even with me having nothing, trying to do the support streams, I was still trying to do what I could to give to the world, because I know my purpose is to help people. I don't understand the full scale of it yet, but I know that's what it is. So even at that lowest point, I tried my best. What up, Dell? Even at that lowest point, I tried my best to make sure that I could try to give in some certain kind of way. And the friends that I gained off of that, the lessons that I learned off of that, me trying to be diligent in the storm, I guess you would say, is, I think, what really led to the opportunity that I'm in now. So yeah, I think content does have something to do with it. Being satisfied does have something to do with it. Some people think like, oh, I hit six figures. This is more than my family, any of my family members has ever gotten to, or I graduated college. That's farther than anyone else has gotten to. So I'm good right here.
Yeah.
I'm better than everybody else. That's the validation I need, not going
And it could
past a
also,
certain point.
I feel like it could also, with that being content where you're at, and I think there's just two sides of it. And if in the back of your mind you're always thinking like, okay, I'm cool right here. I wish I could have did this, that, and the third, but I guess I'm fine right here. I
Yeah.
got my routine, I got my things going on. But on the other side is like, I'm content because I'm truly happy where I'm at. You know, I got everything. I accomplished my goals. So I feel like with the two levels of it, if you still thinking about whatever, it's still going to be holding you back, right? And you just accepting it instead of like accomplishing it, right? So with being afraid of taking chances and risks, you cop out by just saying, I think I'm good right here, instead of going out and trying at least, because we don't know what's after. So you got to at least go out, try, instead of being content. Now, if you go out, try, and you make it, and then you chill out, I think that's the proper way to go about getting over his fear. Just trying.
For sure. So I see that, Grimes. The goal is always there, but the process is what builds character. So yeah, that's kind of part of the issue, right? Like, you have first of all, anybody that has more time here
Yeah.
on Earth, that's your easiest sign to know that there's more for you to do.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter what you went through, what you lost, what's going on in your life,
The fact that
what
you woke up.
what condition you might
Yeah.
have, what like anything. It doesn't matter what is going on. At the end of the day, if you woke up to spend more time here,
That means you've done something somebody else wasn't able to do.
or you're meant to,
Okay.
but you're fighting it because you like where you're at,
Right.
or you don't like where you're at, but you're too scared to step into the next thing. So, with that being said, there's people that have nothing to lose, where it's easy to step into. There is no fear or anxiety about it because it's ground slums
We are.
dirt
This is. I
or we're
gotta get
coming
it
up.
out the mud
So
right now. Yeah.
they say that trauma is related to success, to your level of success, because a lot of people feel like they where they're at, there is no lower level.
Right.
That's how I
That's how-
felt.
yeah,
That's how you felt probably
Exactly.
when we were in what we was in. So getting any type of opportunity, there was no reason, like nothing to lose. Like
Right.
I'm gonna go as hard
Right.
as humanly possible
Right.
with what I have.
There used to be days where, and I'm sure others would think the same too as well. It's like, this can't be life. You know, there got to be more. You go outside and you see life. You can see other people doing things, and you don't know what people are going through. But the majority of people are not getting handed things on a silver platter. There's only like below 1% of people that's really getting handed stuff and just living life. The majority of people are actually getting up every day, trying to get their head on straight, and after.
So
What
exactly.
was the baton is for?
So I want to talk about what you said, Josh. You cannot give other people any blame, whether it's the hiring process or the steps there's steps you got to take in terms of opportunity, but the most successful people that you might look up to, I guarantee, took double digit no's. I mean, unless they really put that time and growth there to be ready for their opportunity, took double digit no's. Like talking about people in the sense of it being their fault is the easiest way to give up the control of your life. So it's important to understand that so you can take the right mindset to making sure that your no means more preparation, not no completely.
Right. Right.
So
You're only one more no away from a yes. You know. You know, that's all it is. Right?
or put in that extra 20, 30, 45 minutes, hour of time in a day towards whatever you're trying to perfect to get there. Which we all have. Everybody says they don't. We all have. Everybody in their phone a certain amount of time
Right.
that they could use for other things or different ways that we don't necessarily use time wisely. So there's always more time if you really look at it as on a deeper level.
Yeah. I was told by a mentor that the no's just means just not yet.
Yeah.
You know. So in regards to us talking about overcoming, you know, fears and being less afraid of failure, that no is just not yet. It's just not your time yet. To where you gotta go back to the drawing board and self-evaluate and see where they could have said no if they didn't give you an explanation. But you're gonna hear a million no's before you hear yes, especially if it's something grand. It's not gonna just be handed to you, because when it is handed to you, you have to be ready for it. So That's the what you
Though,
talking about?
though, can we stay on topic, please, for the respective viewers trying to
If you wanna,
absorb the information,
so if you
please?
wanna move to Florida, uh, you have to take a chance.
I love
Just
that,
like
Mimi.
just like with anything, making a big move is a chance. You can go out there, you can do whatever, and you be on the streets and having to come back home.
Exactly. The preparation and the growth is
Right. So
way more important than the actual opportunity because it can be
exactly,
wasted if
exactly.
you don't go into making sure you're ready for it.
Right.
So that has to be happening all the time. That goes back into the right mindset about meditation, prayer, everything that needs to be done every day.
Right.
Again, going back to manifestation last week, for everything to be at the forefront of your brain for you to be ready for it. All that goes into it to make sure. The more preparation that you have, the less anxiety and fear that you will have going into the next chapter of your life. So you basically have to make sure that your mental is on point at all times. The
And
only Go ahead.
yeah, just a lot of people are scared of taking the chance because of that failure. That's just going off of what you're saying.
Right. But even those people that have maybe more fear and anxiety than others just need to put in that more time
Yeah.
in terms of the preparation. Not sure exactly what that looks like for everybody, of course, but that self reflection is what you need to understand where that has to come from for yourself. So that's basically how we get on to the next step. Exactly. So I see you, Will.
Initiative, yeah, for sure. But again, it's
Faith in action. Absolutely. I missed the big message that you put in, Fabian. Um, so the baton is passed from generation to generation of what needs to be done. Lack of communication between the younger generation and elders. So a lot of time, man, we don't get the responsibilities passed over that we should. So there's that where
go over
we
what he
don't get it.
said basically. Like
So
paraphrase it.
so Fabian is basically saying we get what we feel is needed from life through our elders. And when elders aren't as involved, you know, with what we might feel as today's day and age, it's harder to bring in or to think about what you're really supposed to be doing, you know. Um, so, in a sense, yes, but also life is definitely what you make it. So you can assess to know who's doing things right and who's doing things wrong in the best way that you can with the best things that you know. It's different now. Like before, you know, if you was in the hood, there wasn't no phone to show you all the rest of this life that can be
Oh
had.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, now you can really see it. And it's not like TV. They show you how to get there in a sense. So,
Especially
we used to think and see things on TV where it was like, oh yeah, that'll never happen for me. But this is cool to watch at least, get the
And
perspective on it.
it's crazy. It made me sound old. It's reality, but we grew up in the YouTube era, and now it's YouTube University where you just type it in, even like how to you could it be as broad and as general as possible, and you're gonna see just thousands and thousands of videos, and it might help you narrow down your search. Like, how do I become better? And then you find, okay, I'm good at that, but this creator said something that I don't think I'm good at that, and then you could dive into that, and you can keep opening up those layers and trying to really figure out what's best for you and what's can help you change and grow and overcome whatever mental blocks that you have or or limitations that you have put on yourself. You know, the day of the internet is now, and it's gonna get more. This is what he was saying before.
Oh yeah. So I did speak on that, Josh. Basically talking about the need for like money, family, people that are in charge of your hiring status. More so saying like those are factors, but it can't be the other things that you may blame for where you're not at. Just gives those things more control over your life instead of taking the no's with a grain of salt to know that, okay, let's put more time into the process, into the preparation to be ready for that person that's gonna give you that chance, that
Right.
sees that you're ready, that knows in the forefront of your mind you've been wanting this for so
Right.
long.
Right. It's radiating off of your body.
Exactly. Exactly. People are going to see how ready you really are when you come in for that interview or opportunity, and they can understand that it's not just about your resume being good, but how hungry and prepared that you have made yourself. So I definitely want to make sure that that is double-edged sword to what traps people into seeing success. But who knows if that person is underwater in debt trying to show off. Very true, Kevin. Very true. Yeah, that's the dangerous part about today's day and age, because you may look up to somebody for how everything looks
But
when
that real is rentals and leases
rentals, leases,
and
trying to make
favors.
it look all good,
And
validation through people,
yeah,
not
through
what the
self.
purpose of yourself should be.
Right.
So,
You have anything for that?
for someone who isn't scared to change but doesn't know what they want to do in life, yes. Okay, so
Reiterate first.
for the people,
Reiterate it first.
so
Bixby.
Steve said, I mean, Bigsby said, um, do you have any advice for someone that isn't scared to change but doesn't know what they want to do in life? So that goes directly into what we're talking about. Um, Basically, with certain things, that you want to do in life, um, my bad, little brain fart. With certain things that you don't know you want to do in life, but you know
Want
that
to
you're
do
willing to
something.
grow and change, that self reflection has to be very intentional for you to understand what you're supposed to be doing. Thank you for the sub, though. So Steve, when you say you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, I actually made notes about this. But you're also willing to change into where you're supposed to be going.
Yeah. So another thing, you can go off the notes, but
The
just off the top, I say if you don't know where you want to go, you got to see where you're at now, and
Oh, W gifted, Barbie. It only shows us that those subscribe, but I see that you gifted.
yeah, you have to see where you're at now. Like, let's think into account. Okay, I want something more. I got a house. I got cars. I got whatever. Like hobbies. Like you have to, like what he's saying. You have to really go into what you enjoy doing. Maybe that can be something that you can venture out in. Like if you like, I don't know, lifting weights or whatever. Just anything that you enjoy doing that you maybe haven't thought about putting it. Anything can be scaled, essentially. So if you enjoy houses, if you enjoy anything, so essentially when you're thinking about I want to make a change, you could either look into what you're doing right now or just experiment with other other avenues. There's so much things that people are doing, and it's not necessarily about money, but there's so much things in the world that you could be doing that can either scale into something great or give you another aspect on life and another sense of fulfillment and enjoyment if you just try, you know. So it is like what he's saying, something that you got to think about what you got going on right now. See if you can either scale what you got going right now or just start experiments and if you're not afraid of change. So you could just do anything and if it doesn't work, it's not something that's going to drop your mental or scar you or whatever. You could just like, okay, that didn't work. I can go on to the next and keep it rolling. Especially if you feel like you're not afraid to change. The world is limitless.
25 minutes.
Wow, that's crazy, Josh. I'm definitely gonna tap in on that. So to answer your question, Steve, willing to change, not knowing what to do yet. All that comes from you getting time to yourself. You have to seek your purpose. A lot of people think that it comes to you. That's not necessarily how it works. You have to understand yourself on a different level. When I say that, that means we can't go to certain things when there's anxiety or fear. Um, you have to absorb that and understand yourself better on why you're feeling this way. When you can do that, instead of turning to certain things, it basically will help you understand yourself better. When you understand yourself better, you understand, instead of being numb, feeling everything. So you understand what you like and what you don't like even more. That step then goes into, okay, I'm starting to feel what really feeds my spirit, what really feeds my soul, what really helps me feel like I'm supposed to be here. So my bad. But the more you do that, I promise you, you will gain more and more and more understanding of that self, like you said, Fabian. Awareness, evaluation, knowledge of yourself. The more you understand towards that through however you may do it, walking around for 20 minutes a day, prayer, meditation, you have to have time away from everything else, limited distraction for you to have time to think with yourself. That's what a lot of people lack nowadays, and why everybody needs so much validation from people instead of knowing what you need to be doing for yourself. You know, we got all these people now that are millionaires doing this different things and unhappy. They're not doing anything towards what feeds their spirit. So literally, the more you sit into those things like fear, anxiety, having the right mindset about it is understanding why you feel that way, not trying to get rid of it, not trying to, you can do things to help with your stress, in positive ways. You know, the best way to get mental clarity is working out, doing different things that you can help with in a positive way. But basically, that self-evaluation is where it all comes from. In terms of what you're saying, Josh, so knowing where you want to go, but struggling with limited time to lock in into certain endeavors, you can create any lane for yourself. Like, the easiest thing I can say, I mean, I worked 6 days this week. The only day I really had to, the only time I really had to prepare is just in between whatever time I really had this week. So as I was just very intentional about the little time that I had to prepare for this week in terms of this episode, But I took any small widget of time that I had to put in the notes to make sure we had something to talk about. So again, it's a different it's a different level of accountability to get there, to find that time on everything that you want to do. This is something that's very important to me in terms of this podcast. So I'm making time for this endeavor. You know, yes, it is limited, which is why we have to take certain time to from episode to episode to try to get better. But it's not stopping because of that. So I try my best to pretty much use the time that's available to you to do everything that you want to do. So no, you definitely don't have to cheat and steal your way to it. You just have to be extremely intentional about exactly how you want to get there. And this is part of my stepping stone doing this right here, to figure out all the best ways that I want to help people.
Yeah. So when you thinking about have limited time, you have to really like sit there and block out your day.
Yeah, same thing with
So
my bad. I didn't mean to,
you go
but
ahead.
same thing in terms of budgeting your money. You gotta do
You
that
gotta,
intentionally with your
yeah.
time.
So once you get to a certain level, um, there's rarely anybody, as far as like talking about money, 'cause I'm gonna use that as an analogy. It's rarely anybody with liquid or stocks, whatever. If they have a network of seven figures, 8 figures, guaranteed, and especially if they've been like that and it wasn't overnight, they have a spreadsheet of everything going on. And that's why in that spreadsheet, a lot of accountants get, caught up and sued because, where this money going to, where that money to. But the analogy is the same thing with your time. You have to have a spreadsheet of your time. And then from there, you can see working from this to there, get off at 6, usually get off at 7. I go home, I chill on the game for maybe an hour or so, and then I go to the gym, and then I do this, and then now it's time for bed. Oh man, now look, I'm out of time. And then you can spread that out. Maybe that time on the game, you're not making no progress on the game, so maybe cut that time in half. So instead of an hour, you spend 30 minutes, and say if it's something fitness related, right? You take the other 30 minutes, go crank out some push-ups, go run outside, go do something. Or if it's a brand idea, if it's anything like that, you trying to start a business, take that 30 minutes to do research or to put a website together, or just start it, get something on paper. You can manage your time to where if you have a goal outside of your busy day, because everybody has to work, that hasn't been set up from birth, right? You have to work, you have to figure it out. That's how the system is in America. So we got to work if we're not set up. So with working, your time management is that spreadsheet. And then just pick out things. Just like if you find an accountant that's taking an extra $1,000 off that check, that's the same equivalent. You find an extra 30 minutes that you're not really doing nothing with, and you can use that. And then if you do that and you do it right, you're gonna find that you have a lot of time. They say you only need 6 hours of sleep. If you go into sleep at whatever o'clock and it's been 10 hours, you're still in bed, then you could knock that down an hour or so, unless you medically challenged. You have to sleep, but whatever. You know what I mean? You can find time to make time. And then once you have that time, you can do what you need to do to step out of whatever box or whatever routine that you're going through.
Exactly.
It's something I'm working on myself. So
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
We all are, for sure. Yeah, so that's exactly what it is, Josh. Creating more structure with your free time. Exactly. So there's so many people that think they don't have time until some certain thing happens,
They're going to make some time.
and then they end up making the time after something happens.
Mm-hmm.
When then and instead of realizing like all the so exactly what he said. Exactly what you said. Positivity is so important. So important. Like saying it out loud. I literally told somebody like in the midst of what we were going through, me pretending to love myself when I didn't really feel like I did was really what pushed me to do more. Speaking that positivity over me loving myself, regardless of how I really felt about it at the time, really created more lanes on making myself ready for
It
opportunity.
manifested itself into reality. It's
For
something
sure.
that if you say it out loud or pray it out loud, whether that's in your head or whatever, if you something that's at the forefront of your thought process, it's manifestation.
For sure.
You know, so if you keep saying I'm gonna be great and you at ground zero, and eventually you're gonna be great because
There's only one
you
way to
know
go.
there's only one way to go. It's
Yeah.
for greatness.
So that's 100% right, Josh. Your mind is definitely your biggest enemy.
And it
That's
could,
that goes
yeah,
back to what I was saying with the adolescence. You know, as kids, we really do feel anything is possible until we get told by people
that is not
or
possible.
things happen to you or you take in all the wrong things about what's going on from the people that don't want to do or it feels like it is impossible for you to do what you want to do. That's why listening to yourself and finding your own lane in certain situations is what will help you get where you need to be. So, to be a creative instead of a contributor, you have to have that time in your into yourself to really figure out the best lane for you to create. So that actually goes into the next thing that you were saying. Um, the full change in mindset for fear and anxiety. Really, the devil basically has tricked us into thinking stress, anxiety, um, time, other people have this play over our lives. Um, but really, with stress and anxiety, doing the things that you need to do the right way is what actually holds you accountable to your growth.
Hmm.
So the more you understand those feelings, the more you will grow. You know, people will try to put a condition on you to say that you have this, you have that, or you can't manage this, or you can't do this, or you're supposed to take this, or you gotta, like, conditions
Hmm.
are conditions. They
Right,
don't call them stoppers,
right, right.
you
So
know?
that goes just to that reminds me of my mother. Um, she went to the doctor. I don't know how many years ago. She said they got all types of ailments and illness and all this and that. Your body falling apart, and we need to do all these surgeries to get you back right. And of course, listening because again, it's supposed to be the people that's there to help. She went to the doctor, did the surgery, whatever. Was sick. I remember she was throwing up. I had to pick her up physically, put her in the car, take her back. You know what I'm saying? Take her to the house. And then I think like a year or so. I think it was like ulcers or something. Something was wrong with her stomach. She did the surgery. She came back for checkups, whatever. Oh, you need to do another surgery. She said, "What?" After doing all they said that she needed to do, she needed to go back for another surgery. She said, "Okay, watch this."
I had enough.
Yeah,
I had
she walked
enough.
because she missed work and man, I mean, sick as a dog. She said, "Watch this." She hasn't had the surgery since, and then it just she went on YouTube. She went on well, it was Google mainly. It was a big Google, and just start googling stuff and just change everything based off of Google. And then of course YouTube exploded into what it is now. She transferred over to YouTube, and it's just she got all these health gurus that she subscribed to, and just free information, and hasn't went back to the hospital for any type of surgery. And she says that every day. I don't care what they say. They just gonna have to pick me up if it's true. But it's been what 10, 15 years since, and she had never went back. So it's one of those things where, okay, cool, you may think you have something, or you may actually have something going on, but if you let that be your excuse to set limitations for yourself, then you're going to be in that same circle. Using my mom's analogy, you're going to be in that same circle of medicine, same circle of seeing a doctor, doing surgery, because you're going to have some in the healthcare that's going to actually try to get you right, but the majority
that's
of
just
it,
tied to that dollar.
yeah, the majority of it is making money off of your insurance and trying to see if you can come back to make more money off of your insurance.
Exactly.
So,
and that goes into every aspect of life, not just medicine, but I'm human. I get to feel how I feel. I'm not going to step into this situation because I should be terribly angry about this, or, you know, falling into all the wrong feelings about better opportunity for yourself is also crippling. Like taking things personal instead of absorbing what you need for that growth is just as important. Um, so, from what I was saying before, like the truth may be that you do have these certain deficiencies or disabilities or conditions, but again, none of them are
that
called
shouldn't limit you,
stoppers.
right? They shouldn't limit you to what you got going on.
There, that means that there should be a different route that you can create around what's straight to it, but you can get there. You can't tell me that your conditions is what's stopping you when there's people without limbs that are doing crazy amazing things. There's people without that can't hear, that can't see, that can't speak, like they're that are doing amazing things on a daily basis that have no excuses. Like you cannot tell me that that's why you're not going for it.
Right. Find a
So,
way, You're right, Chrissy.
ooh, that's such a great question, Fabian. Um, so maintaining the new habits, because we all want to do better, right? And we do it for a day or two and we fall off. The biggest thing is not listening verbatim to someone else on how to do it, knowing yourself on what will keep you disciplined is more important. So for us, right, we had a time where it didn't matter how much time we had to make ourselves work out. So money is very important to us in this time in our life. So we said, okay, we're going to complain about not necessarily having the time all the time. So how can we maintain how to do this? We made a bet. Anytime you do not work out, and I do at least 5 times a week, you have to pay me or I have to pay you. And it went on like that until we formed good enough habits to continue to do it. So regardless if we're getting home at 11 at midnight, there was no excuses to it. If that's how we're going to do it, we're going to make sure that we stay diligent on it, then that's exactly what we're going to do to keep the drive. So the drive is more important, and that's what creates the discipline. You have to have what you want in your forefront at all times to understand that you need to keep doing everything that you need to do, because eventually you're going to get to a point that you're looking for. So,
So basically, like if you started a new thing, okay, and you want it to be a habit, whether it's something that is not monetary, like I just started working out, or something that is monetary, like hey, I just started this new brand, or whatever the case is. If you immerse yourself in that, That's the other side of it. You could have the monetary motivation, right? It was just $100, so we wasn't tripping about the $100, but it was the principle of it. So
Exactly.
that was our motivation. And if it's something that you're doing, that you're starting, that you're trying to form a habit of, and it's not something that needs the motivation, that's not something that needs that type of motivation. You just have to immerse yourself in it, you know. Especially when I started, like when I started photography, everything I did, because I didn't want to go to school for it, because I couldn't afford the art institute, and if I couldn't get into there, I didn't want to do it. So everything I did after school was either researching, taking pictures on my phone. I started working, and then when I made enough money, I bought a camera. I started taking pictures off of that. I started asking questions. I did everything aside from buying the cameras. Everything I did didn't cost me anything to go do. Ask questions and research and do everything that I wanted to do. And I immersed myself into it to where when I did get picked up by an agency and I did start traveling, I made a lot of small time milestones that made me feel like I was Shakespeare, you
All the
know.
preparation
You
made
know,
you ready
it
for
was,
the opportunity.
exactly, it was a
Yeah.
lot. So how I made the habit of being consistent on taking pictures and then it started leveling up, and I just stayed immersed into it. And it's nothing about money. You just have to just be everything that's on our phones, so it's a lot easier nowadays to either ask questions, and if you got nobody to ask, to look it up and immerse yourself in information is free. It's just the work that you put into it. That's where it gets hard to solidify that habit.
Yeah. At the age of time that we are in, there is a easy way to create a lane for whatever you want to do. Yes, lock in.
Yeah.
So towards the end of this episode, I like to give examples. So you gave your example, right? Like growing up, you can ask any of my family. I was terrified to talk, small talk. I did not like it. I'm gonna take in everything. It's not that I can't critically think about
Exactly.
everything,
What
but
was your why? Yep.
I hated to talk. Um, just any small talk gave me a crazy amount of anxiety to where I have to think on the spot of what I'm about to say. I don't. I just it was ridiculous to me. Uh, as crazy as that sounds, like this is so normal for everybody else, but coming up, I was terrified of
Right.
it, of the fact, like with family, with friends, like.
And now you're just terrified to stop talking.
No. I mean, that's what happens, though. The devil tries to take away what is going to help
Yeah.
save more
Now it's
people.
plentiful.
Now I'm ready to help save more people because of what he tried to take away from me. It's not happening. So we're gonna talk to everybody about this. My reasoning for bringing that up in high school, I actually ended up so stupid, right? Getting this girl that I thought was like the bee's knees. And, you know, what worked out for me in high school is I didn't talk a lot. So it was like the whole mysterious thing about it that was so dumb. So when you actually commit to actually being in a relationship at that point,
Thank you,
well, guess
Mimi.
who wants to talk to you all the time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your girl. So, dang, at that point, how do I consistently talk to her and make this entertaining? Because if you want it bad enough, you're gonna create a route for
You're
yourself,
right.
right?
Right.
So, even though I was terrified to talk, at a certain point, I was like, I still want her to be entertained, interested. I want this to work. So I don't know, what do? I literally started thinking to myself on how I can create a route for myself so that I can talk every time she calls me, right? Or every time we talk every day, right? Exactly. Exactly. I started, no shame in my story, I do not care. I started getting little flashcards.
Oh no.
Do
And
you love me? Yes or no?
I would write down 10 different subjects on what I wanted to say. Whether it don't matter how dumb it was. If I knew she did something that day, okay, we're gonna ask about that.
Do
We're
you
gonna
like the
ask about
color
the
red?
day. Yep.
No? Okay, cross
Okay,
that
what
off.
time is this? Okay, what
Is
else
he
can I think of?
reading
Oh, I got this.
flashcards?
Bro, I'm telling you. And every time we talk, I would like purposely miss her call if I didn't have my flashcard ready. Purposely, if I didn't have my flashcard ready. And when I have my flashcard ready, oh yeah, I was busy. What's going on, girl? How you doing? So, do you
Bro,
like
just look at,
apples?
how was your day?
And literally, that crazy anxiety and fear started to leave the more I talked to her with those flashcards. And I just go from subject to subject. When we stopped, when we started stopped having
Slowing down,
movement,
yeah.
no momentum. Okay, next
So,
thing.
where are you from?
And it literally kept going. And until what's crazy is I didn't need flashcards no more.
You got all the questions memorized.
It's not even the questions. It's just I started to understand
Eventually, you got
how to
memorized.
just talk. How to just talk.
That's funny.
And going into that, basically, that was like my first real
Conversation.
whatever. But
Yeah.
it helped me learn how to just talk normally.
Just let it out.
And yeah, eventually the flashcard thing didn't even feel right anymore. I could just go on. I knew enough about her at that point. I could just continue. Shoot, to mouthpiece got kind of crazy. I was an older gentleman, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. Like that's not necessarily a way that somebody would learn, but if you want it bad enough,
Yeah, you
I
was
was
intentional
intentional about making a way for it to work.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way into everything that we want to do in life. So you have that example with your mom finding her own way, us finding our own way to work out, me finding my own way to talk, you being intentional about your agency. So all of that goes into if there is that fear and anxiety about something.
Wow.
The preparation on that flashcard or what you research or the people you help use you to push you is all sources that you can use to basically push past those limits and keep you disciplined. Because the most important thing is getting where you want to go. Nobody's gonna sit here and be like, dang, I wish I would have spent more time on my phone instead of working on getting where I wanted to go.
Right.
Nobody's gonna be like, dang, you know what? I wish I would have watched more TV. I wish I would have played the game more. Like, nobody's gonna say that.
Right.
If, like, at the end of the day, getting to where you want to be should be the most important. What's fun is not going to be what's most important all the time. So Barbie said, I do that with my stream sometimes and it stresses me out. Any way I can create better conversation without it being generic. My conversations tend to be very flashcard.
I think that might go back. That might be. I feel like if it was me and I feel like I'm being bland, I don't think I'm being comfortable and relaxed in the environment that I'm in. Like as far as talking about what's going on and being able to create genuine conversation. Like I don't think it's something that should be forced, but if it is something that is like a flashcard, like what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
eventually you're gonna get to a point where you're comfortable in doing whatever. Like, um, I had a point, I don't know where, I think it was in regards to me traveling and everything and having to present what I got going on, especially when I started acting. Um, I never did anything like that. And then this was before COVID, so it was face to face auditions. Now it's all over the phone, so you have time to prepare a thing. You're in the comforts of your own home. But back when I was doing my auditions, flying around doing whatever, it was face to face, a row of people, and
You had to be ready then. You had to be more ready than all those
yeah,
people lined up for that
and
part.
then a lobby full of people. It's a row of casting directors, producers, directors, and then the lobby full of people that's trying to do the same thing. So my heart was going down to where it shouldn't be while I was still trying to keep maintaining, keep composure, and still be genuine. So they say, okay, read this line. And you just have to forget that the situation you're in and just be yourself, you know. And I landed, I didn't land everything. Again, you're gonna hear your nose, you're gonna get rejection. I know I did get on like Capital One commercials, and I did something for Alabama State University. So I landed those things because I was genuine, I was myself, and I remember one part I got bumped up to a speaker role because behind the scenes I'm just chopping it up with everybody, and they was like, "Hey, you want to do this part instead?" Because, they preferred me over whoever they casted originally, and I got bumped up a role, and that was the speaker role when I was in the car, and I wasn't trying to get on there. I was I just was comfortable in my environment, so I was just being myself, and they was like, "Man, I think you'd be perfect for this. So here's the script." And I was still nervous. Here's the script, and you can go out and do it. So as far as not feeling like a robot talking to stream, if that's what it is, you have to make sure that you're just comfortable in what you got going on and practice.
Yeah.
Practice it,
Practice.
talk to yourself in the mirror, talk to random people on the street with no camera, just practice
Yeah.
being genuine.
Because it's really crazy for you to even say that. Because anytime I watch your stream, everything just seems so, you know, it just flows. And to me, um, but I literally pray for that. Like, I'm still not the best speaker ever. No, not even close. You know,
Yeah, I stutter a lot.
yeah, like I, I literally pray for helping people connect better with what they want to do. Like, I pray for being able to help push people in their own right direction. Not tell people what to do, but help them understand what they feel like they should do. So I literally will pray to help me with whatever I need to say in the best, most genuine way that I can, um, to help people connect to what they feel like they should be doing, um, as well as helping people connect with God and prayer, meditation, all those different things that I use in terms of that self reflection to get the things that I want out of life. So, yeah, Barbie, like, it just, I hate that we don't have like a perfect answer, but it's definitely going to go back into you just being as intentional as you can about just loving on your viewers,
Yeah.
just being you, which is, I mean, you is, that's why I'm like, I'm like confused about the question because
So
your streams are good.
yeah, so golfer, that's another thing that I like to take into account, which I started doing recently.
Ooh, sorry.
Is
I'm so sorry. From what you just said, you base the from what he said in terms of his auditions, if you're able, don't concentrate on having the people stay, because it's gonna revert into exactly what you don't want. Literally, all you need to concentrate on is just the love that you have through your stream, and people will stay from the positive energy that they feel. Um, so I think that is actually in your head when you're really a great person to just carry that positive energy into the rest of your stream where people will stay. But back to
Yeah,
what you were
nah.
saying.
I just like the fact that you could take some accountability with a golfer. Um, if all else fails, just take notes of what's going on. And I think those notes, even if it's mental notes, it's like, what could I have done differently, you know? And if you think about it that way, even if it was a great stream, you got rated by whoever, and you had thousands of people in there. What could you have done differently, or what can you do differently now that you have 500 more followers? You know, so being intentional, of course, but that intention can be in the form of taking notes and trying to, again, and if you don't have pen and paper, I don't, you know, we all got our phones. There's a note app, or you could just take a mental note. You know, there's no excuses to not be able to take notes of what went wrong, what went right, and if it went wrong, how can we do better? If it went right, how can we replicate or perfect it? You know, so taking notes on your day is something that is great.
If all those fails, Barbie, shoot, honesty and vulnerability is something that all the right viewers will appreciate too. So if if all those fails, you can always, you know, tell them, what you may have been uh, overthinking about, or the anxiety to it, or the fear of what you feel.
6% charge 1 hour to answer.
Yeah. But I mean, pretty much wrapping up. Um, I definitely want anybody that's looking for advice. I love that the chat is helping with different things that people are asking about. But we're also
Nearing
here
the
for
end.
you as well. So that's perfect, Chris. Literally, people follow and respond to real. That's the type of following that you want in the first place. All those people that accept and love your vulnerability and honesty are going to be the ones that stay and help you propel compared to the casuals. So all of those go into it for sure.
In conclusion,
Um, in conclusion, really don't let fear or anxiety stop you. Embrace it. Take it in for what it is. Understand that if you feel that, then there's either more preparation you need to do towards yourself and what you need to figure out to be ready for the next step. Or if you literally know what you feel like you should be doing, it's time to step. I mean, it is what it is. The only thing that's holding you back is people or the enemy telling you that you can't do it. And if you don't try, guess what?
you never know.
And we only might get this life one time. So that's exactly why I'm here with this podcast, to hopefully be able to elevate everybody that I can with, you know, like I said, when we talk here, we're all talking to each other. I don't have it all figured out. He don't have it all figured out. None of us do, but we can create a positive circle to help with the things that we struggle with. And that's what's most important. So even if I can't necessarily change the world with this podcast, I can fuel what happens next for somebody that might be in chat to do so. And
Set that foundation
that's the
and
biggest thing.
build from there. All right, I think we good.
I think that's about it. Yeah.
So,
Another W episode, I think.
From Bazz and Wheezy.
We out.